Hello everyone, and welcome to another wonderful lesson for Algebra 1. This is going to be an intro to expressions. I know we've actually talked about like simplifying expressions, stuff like that already, but what I want us to focus on today are the different parts of an expression. So first off, do you think this is an expression? Yes or no? The answer is no, it's an equation. If it ever has an equal sign, it is considered an equation. Expressions just have the 5x plus 7. So here is an expression because you see no equation sign. That's all there really is to knowing the difference between an expression and an equation. But let's talk about the different parts of an expression, okay? The different parts of an expression are based on variables, really. So first off, these are variables. They represent any number. We don't know what they are. They're like masks hiding us from the truth. They could be a 10, they could be a billion. We don't know. But until we do know, they are just going to be represented as letters or specifically variables. Now, the ones next to them, the numbers next to them, we have special words for those. And those are called coefficients. Coefficients are numbers that are attached to variables through multiplication. This means 2 times x. This means 4 times y. But what about this number right here? We also have a name for that, and that is called a constant. I like to think of constants as being constantly alone. They do not have any variables next to them, and thus it is just a constant. Now, each of these parts, 2x, 4y, and 9, we call those terms. So this has 3 terms. There are 3 terms. We cannot combine them because they are not like terms. So the first term is, as I said, 2x. The next term is 4y. And this is the part that a lot of people make a mistake on. A lot of people think that the next term is 9, but it is not. It is actually negative 9. And that's because terms are separated by addition. Minus 9 is the same thing as plus negative 9.
Battery low.
So don't get confused by that, guys. Make sure that you have that negative included. All right, so let's go over an example. For this lesson, this is all you're doing, is just identifying coefficients, variables, constants, and terms. So this is our first example. In fact, we're only going to do one example for this lesson. So we're given this big expression right here, and we're asked, how many terms are there? So let's count, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are exactly 4 terms. We can't combine them. They're not like terms. But then we have to figure out what are the terms. So I have these highlighted still. 8p, right? 2q. And then a lot of people will say 7r, but it's actually, remember, negative 7r. We have to include that negative there. And then finally 3. So these are the 4 terms. We include the variables with their coefficients. Now, speaking of variables, let's find that out. I see a p, remember variables are letters. I see a q, and I see an r. So those are our variables right there. Now here's the mistake that people like to make for coefficients. A lot of people try to include everything for the coefficient. What I mean by that is some people say 8p is a coefficient. Remember, the coefficient are just the numbers. So the first coefficient is 8, the second coefficient is 2, the third coefficient is negative 7, and the fourth coefficient is, there's no fourth coefficient, guys. Come on, remember, 3 does not count. It doesn't have a variable next to it. So we have 8, 2, and negative 7. Notice how combined they make up the terms, but they're also separate parts. Some parts are variables and some parts are coefficients. Finally, we're asked, what is the constant? The constant, remember, is the one that's constantly alone, has no variables next to it. It's the number 3. And that's it for trying to figure out what are the different parts of an expression. So don't overthink it. I do want you guys to know what these vocabulary words are. So if I talk to you about terms, variables, coefficients, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, though, make sure you watch the other video and you have a good day. Bye.